Hey, everybody out there in podcast land. This is your host, Severen Henderson. This is Firecast, as presented by Department 3C. This is just a generic intro. Probably means I wasn't able to get into the studio. So hopefully you enjoy the episode, and you can read in the comments or the show notes description what the episode is all about. But like I said, I just wanted to put something together so that you can know that it's your favorite podcast. Please reach out with any comments, likes, dislikes, any information that you want to pass on to us. Our email address is info@department3c.com, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks again for listening. Bye. Let me just start off with you guys introducing yourself. Who wants to go first?
Sal?
LaSalle Smith. I work in advertising, all things creative, photographer, graphic design, art direction. I've done several really cool projects. So Swish House just felt, I got the opportunity to do some work here. And, I couldn't pass up on it. Andreas gave me an opportunity and I was all for it.
Okay.
It was really simple the way our synergy works, so no brainer. Been a Chicago guy for a while, but born in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I got two homes. That's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me in a quick nutshell.
Okay, like that. Dre?
My name's Andreas Endergaard. I am a former corporate worker turned creative. I am originally from Norway. Grew up in Germany, moved to the States in '95, found myself in Chicago after college, found a camera by luck, changed my life, decided to follow it, gave me purpose.
Yep.
I work mainly in the sports, health and wellness and fitness spaces, music when I can, and recently took everything that I did as a freelancer and turned it into a creative agency called Project Liaison, working with LaSalle, and we have partnered up and took on the Swish House opportunity and had a great opportunity to not only work together, build a relationship, but also continue to improve our skills, create content in a space that we love, and also service incredible clients that are doing really impactful things for other people in the community.
That is awesome. I like how you put that together. Let me start off. I just kind of had you guys jump in here, but we met through Swish House. You guys were there doing the creative, and then I asked you about it. I looked on your guys' social media and see all the different awesome companies you work with, and so far the Swish House project has been awesome. Like what you've done so far. That one video was super dope.
The sizzle.
The sizzle, that's what it's called?
That's what we've been calling it.
Okay, man, that is something else. I don't want to call it your best one, but that was like the best thing I had ever seen. So,
Thank you.
So tell me about LaSalle. We'll start with you since you went first. How did you get into the creative space in the first place?
It's funny. I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon.
Okay.
When I was younger than that, I wanted to be construction. As far as owning a construction company, I was big into like the big machines. But then when I got into college, I got this free range to, I started a music festival. I had a self-started magazine. I picked up a camera in a more serious way in college. And then I saw all the opportunities that came with that. My dad works at PR, so I was always around the office. So I kind of like the industry, the work. So I started in advertising when I graduated college.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been a hustler of sorts. So I always have like that job, side job. So opportunities come from all different types of places.
Mm-hmm.
But, I see creativity as a way to express myself. I'm a really, at times, emotional person. I think that creativity allows me to put it out in a good way.
Yeah.
So it's more so following my heart, because I think that you got to pick something that you love.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the realm I landed in. Some people are doctors, some people are lawyers. The creative aspect is what I do.
Okay, I like that and appreciate that, because that you guys before we came on were asking me how did I start a podcast, why did I start a podcast, and that's part of the reason why. need a creative outlet, and I always know that I'm okay if I'm able to be creative. Like if I'm sitting around and I can't think of nothing to make up, then something's not right. So I really appreciate that take.
And
Thank
I think
you.
it's important because like people get caught in routines.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity is the best way to break a routine because you can do whatever you like to do if you can bring it to life.
Yep.
So it comes with a lot of variety. Sometimes my head's in a million different places, but I think it's the best sense of freedom that someone could have is expressing themselves through creativity.
Yeah. And now if I can just focus it on one really good thing, but you guys have found that. So Dre, you sound like you've been all over the world, and you summed it up really great, but give me a broader perspective of that world tour.
So like I said, I was born in Norway. I had the blessings of growing up in Stuttgart, Germany. My mom's from Brazil. My mom never actually finished high school. She's one of the hardest working individuals that I've ever met. Really just fierce, the definition of life. My dad is, more rigid, structured, very intelligent guy, speaks 14 different languages, robotics engineer.
Wow.
Worked all over East Asia. So I grew up on, the traditional idea of go to school, get a good education, get a job, get married, raise children, and then eventually you die. But in a lack of better words, but when I got out of school, I had a marketing degree. I'm like, I just moved to Chicago because I wanted to get out of Michigan, and then eventually got a job in logistics because it was with Coyote Logistics because it was a really, really good opportunity to work at the time. I made six figures within 6 months of graduating college, and for a 22-year-old living in a big city for the first time, you do a lot of stupid things at that age, and I definitely can attest to that. And eventually, I was making this money, and I'm like, I only took that job as some sort of leap to something else. Yeah. Because I always knew I wanted to be my own boss, and initially, I thought that would be with clothing as the main avenue, but I never really put any efforts into it. So I was working this job, I was partying every weekend, doing a bunch of things that I didn't need to do, having a bunch of fun at the time, but I got into a wave of like depression and anxiety, minor depression. It started with anxiety first, and to give it a little bit more detail on this, because a lot of people don't know this story except my close friends. I used to take any younger male who is into working out takes a lot of supplements. I think at those stages we see things and like, oh, this can help me lose weight or this can help me gain muscle. I'm just going to take whatever with some brief research. So I was taking a fat burner pill, and I thought I was having a bad reaction to a fat burner pill from just too much caffeine. But it was super weird because after work, I just went to my ex-girlfriend's house, and it was when the Heat were playing the Spurs. Forgot what finals that was. It might have been, was that 2013?
That sounds right. Yeah.
I just wanted to crawl up in a ball like a baby, and that's exactly what I did. And I didn't do anything for like hours, and just I felt off inside, and it continued to feel like that for a couple weeks, and then it spurned into depression. And I've grown up a happy kid my whole life. Like I love life. I love being here. I love everything that comes with it, the good and the bad. That's just I'm lucky to be here. But I knew that it wasn't normal for me. So, and eventually I got to the point where I admitted maybe I'm dealing with some depression. And I've seen what, prescription medication has done to a lot of people, some friends. I've seen what it does to my mom. And I told myself that I wasn't going to go that route. I believe I have a strong mind. I believe our minds, once we can get them under control, are our best tools, are the strongest assets in the universe. And I wanted to prove to myself that I could handle this on my own. So I started meditating. I started, practicing gratitude, just doing things that, I think all of us should do in the grand scheme of life, because those things help to, kind of center me, calm me down a little bit, distract me from, the anxiety, depression, whatever. But then eventually I came to the realization that it was because I was lacking a purpose. Like, despite making six figures at the time in this job, I had a beautiful girlfriend that any man would want to date. And I just wasn't happy. And I was in a relationship that wasn't for me. I wasn't doing anything about it. I was in a job that quote unquote be a dead end job in the position that I was in, because there was no really advancement, nothing super greater in the grand scheme of things. And I started doing a bunch of things creatively outside of work that I just to have something that I could call my own. I tried DJing, I tried making beats, I tried sewing hats like Don C. Oh man, this is great. And this is at a time where when anything got difficult, when I hit that first wall of adversity, the failure, instead of figuring out why I was failing, I decided to jump to the next shiny thing, right? Yep. That's the worst thing that you can do, because then you have to start the process all over again. And luckily, I had two friends, Alex and Justice, who were in corporate world as well, and we ended up forming Project Liaison, which was geared towards networking events for creatives, because creatives really need to network. The creative industry is, the best jobs are a lot of who you know.
Yep.
Obviously, you have to have the skill and the talent, but it is a lot of who you know. And we started, that was just our way of creating our own thing outside of work that we could call our own. That was a big part of it. But also, we had a lot of friends that just wanted to hit the bar every weekend and do the same thing, get drunk. We wanted to bring a different experience to them. So we hosted some art events at Virgin Hotel, had some great successes. Through that, I had a roommate that wanted to create a photography app, Marcus Hart. Love you, man. I hope you're doing well. Who wanted to start make an app, which was a mixture of VSCO cam and Instagram. But this was at the time when Instagram was going through the hype photography phase, which is like super saturated colors, sunsets, skyscrapers, shoes dangling off buildings. Like, it's cool stuff, but there's not a lot of stories in there, but it got a lot of likes. And that's how it worked on Instagram at the time. But that's all they wanted to do, or he wanted on the platform. And I told myself that if I'm going to join this project, because he asked me to, I'm going to figure out how camera works inside and out. Because prior to that, I had another one of my roommates named Brock, and he's the friend that always needed to do something. He's like, let's get cameras. And I'm like, okay, sure. Knowing in my head that I was going to get this camera, use it for 2 weeks, and then put it away forever.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But after, and this was like 3 months later when Marcus asked me to do this project, but then I started actually shooting with the camera and shooting with friends. And every time I had that camera in my hand, time stood still. The depression was not there. The anxiety was not there. It happened to be the first thing.
Started to notice something.
Yeah. It happened to be the first thing in my 26 years of life at the time that I was actually really good at without trying. And I followed that. I eventually started getting paid. And I'm like, man, this is too big of a sign to ignore. I'm big on like intuition, following my gut. And I'm here one time. I'm going to make the most of my life. I'm going to live it the way that I want. And at the very least, I don't want to be on my deathbed and look back and be like, why didn't you try to follow that photography thing that, made you feel really good when you were younger?
Yes.
And that's how we're here.
Yeah, I'm with that. Man, you guys' story, I didn't think we was going to get this deep this quick, because, I mean, these are the stories that I look for, that I hope for, that the interviews I try and get, because I feel the exact same way, and I feel there's so many people out there that feel the exact same way. I had that same experience, even though I was still doing firefighting. We get a lot of time off, and I preach and tell guys all the time, I think you should do something constructive with all that time off. Not necessarily go get another job,
right?
Not necessarily a lot of guys jump into a bottle a lot of times, drown their sorrows in that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of trauma that goes on, a lot of shared trauma with people you don't even know. You'll just meet somebody, and if you're a person, you feel some type of sympathy or empathy for another person, and sometimes we take that on. It's just so many different things, and I tell guys you need a positive outlet to keep life going. And I had this same idea, like, I'm gonna give me a camera. and just start taking pictures. And because like even when I was a kid, my mother used to say, we thought when we gave you the camera, the little point and shoot, all it was going to be is boobs and bellies, but you actually had our face in the picture. So I dabbled with cameras for a little while, but I did like what you said, moved on to the next shiny object, moved on to the next thing, because I'm crazy. No.
I mean, you even said it there, just having something constructive. And I think sometimes I just go on tangents. For me, the best way that I can wrap this, a lot of people say, well, I want to work for all my life and then retire. And I think most people have the idea of retirements like go travel, enjoy whatever.
Yeah.
But I see it every day with older individuals, and I think my dad's going through this right now where he was very successful, but he's retired, but aside, he's not doing much, and I try to tell him, like, my mom's working, like, constantly doing things around the house, her garden, and I think as human beings, we need purpose. We need a reason to wake up every day, whether it's work, it's something that drives us, and, I don't... Like finding that like getting to that point is not an easy point, and it's usually takes external triggers to get you to that, some type of experience that's usually negative.
Yes,
right.
that's where a lot of things grow out of negativity. You just gonna say something?
I agree.
Okay. Another thing, especially about retirement, I think a lot of times people wait. Especially when you get to a certain age, you wait to retirement to do things that you wanted to do. It's like, do that stuff now if you have the opportunity. Right. And I know, just to relate it back to fire one more time, that is tough.
Because you have to make a living first.
You got to do something. You can't just not contribute.
You got to provide for yourself, your kids, whatever it may be. And like that restaurant you want to open might be kind of tough to do right now because you have, and that's a harsh reality that we're burdened by the chains of work. Yeah. And that's a lot of people. So, but if you play it correctly, you should be able to do what you love, and then therefore you don't need to retire because you love it.
Well, that's they say find what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the last thing I was going to bring fire-wise is a lot of guys used to retire. They had this pension. Yeah, I'm going to spend this money, and they will die like months after they retire because they don't, like you were saying, Dre, have that purpose, have that thing to keep going. And I remember my mother, she was getting ready to retire, and I said, just find something to do. Whatever it is, find something to do. She retired, and her thing to do is go to the post office and go to the dollar store because she will mail me stuff from back home all the time.
That's so wholesome. Shout out to my dudes.
Yeah, she mails stuff all the time, and I love it. I appreciate it. But like you said, you got to find something to do.
Yeah.
Now, creative wise, I gotta ask you guys, because like I said, I picked up a camera. I had a little digital camera. I used to shoot some in high school when we still developed pictures in the dark room and everything.
Film guy over here.
Yeah. So tell me the differences nowadays with cameras, taking pictures.
They're lighter, faster. The lenses are ever more powerful. There's several different types of cameras: 3D cameras, augmented reality cameras. Obviously, like the more so cinematic cameras that cost $50,000 to use, $100,000 to use. Technology, as humans keep moving forward, so is photography. So there's a lot of cool options and solutions depending on what you're doing. But I think the best photo is still film.
Okay.
The best photo you take.
I agree.
You go in that dark room and you get that thing developed. You could manipulate the whole photo if you're good at it, and you can do the same thing via post-production on Lightroom, but it's not the same.
Okay. I knew what I was doing because my art teacher, Miss Span, she taught us, and she still works at the high school too, but she taught us, how to develop pictures. We developed them and everything else, but I never dove back in to really get going. So you guys say film, that's your
I love the film aesthetic. Like, I'm a total film newbie, honestly. Like, the extension of the film that I've shot has been disposable cameras. I do have a Minolta, but it's broken. I just haven't consistently gotten into the routine of being a film shooter because everything I do is digital. But some of my favorite works, for the most part, are all film. I just love the aesthetic, and to me it's like taking steps back in time.
Mm-hmm.
It's some of my favorite photographers are mostly film photographers, but I think going back to your original question about the technology, and this is something that comes up every day, especially now with AI being introduced into things.
Yeah.
It's, the powerful cameras, the mirrorless, the DSLRs that we have now, they're not going to be replaced. And regardless if you have an iPhone, regardless if you have a film camera, regardless if you're shooting on, a $50,000 cinema camera, like, it's always the operator.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know how to tell a story, if you don't know how to interact with your subjects, control a set, if you don't know how to convey moods with lighting, just kind of weaving the whole ecosystem of creating a work of art into place, then it doesn't matter what you use. And that you can never replace that. That is something that has to be learned through experience and, learning, working with other individuals and just practice, because it's one of those things, it's until it becomes muscle memory, it's something that should always be worked on to become muscle memory.
Right. And I think a good photographer takes the photo before you press the button.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Fires.
Yeah.
I think you know the composition, you know the lighting, you know the settings, everything's already in your head. You might even know how you want to edit it before you press the button.
Mm-hmm.
Then you press it, it comes out how you like to. If you're shooting digitally, you could do it 1,000 times in 30 seconds, or film, you get that one shot or two shots.
Yeah.
But that photo is in your head before you take it.
Oh man, now you got me thinking about my iPhone in a whole different light now.
I truly think that's like an X factor when it comes to creating, and that is, LaSalle hit it right on the head. Anything. This is what we try to do. Like, you mentioned the sizzle, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sizzle, LaSalle and I, we mapped that whole thing out before we even shot. Like, that video was done from the audio to the scenes to the transitions. Like, there are some clips that we didn't use in that final sizzle, which involved a subject that was coming in from the perspective of the defender's perspective, and then we had another clip that was from the subject's perspective driving on the defender, and like, that's a transition right there. But we had to think of that, and even like editing, having a certain type of audio, because we use the realist with ESTG and Jeezy, like that. There's a certain cadence to that, a certain tone, a certain emotion that you feel when you watch that. Like, when I hear it, like, I think of all the things that I've been through and like how I continue to move forward, and no matter what gets put in front of me, I will triumph. And that's ultimately what we wanted to convey with that video. And then, just tying it all together with everyone at the class, the end with the portrait, the close down with the Swish House, and those. And I always encourage every creator, if you want to do this seriously, if you just, I always believe in doing things right. Like, don't just go out and use your skill. Like, obviously there's a lot of times where we do that, and we had this discussion the other night. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm just using my skill and not following the proper procedure, the systems and protocols, because you follow the plan, you follow the system, and that ensures success, because you've planned it, you've thought about it, you've envisioned it, and then you just go execute it.
Yeah.
And creativity sometimes isn't a linear line.
Right.
But you have to, like, I'll get a million ideas, I'll need to put it on this path that is this process and the structure. So, like, figure out that balance. If you feel like you're out of touch with the objective, try to just land your creative on target a bit more. And that might be the strategy, that might be whatever it is. Creativity is, like I said, still freedom. So therefore, most creatives don't like the shackles of rules. They don't want to be told A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They want to be told A, B, 27, 39, 56. Yeah. That's how the brain works.
Yeah.
So I think a good partnership, a good team harnesses all that knowledge in a way and puts it where it needs to go. But good creative, you could do it alone, but great creative typically has a team, and that's how the dynamic works for me.
That's another huge thing that I love and appreciate, because so many times people get an idea and go off on a tangent all on their own. Like, they'll read, like, especially now we have, the internet. We can look up anything we want to look. Any idea that we have in our head, we can find someone somewhere to justify that idea. But if you're working together as a team and you really take into consideration what the other team member says, then you can actually come up with such a better plan and execute a plan much better. I mean, we've been saying it for years, two heads are better than one, and that's really the case that a lot of people, I feel like, forget nowadays.
Absolutely. And I think this comes with stages in life too, and some people, mature faster than others. Some people don't. When I was in my career, when I was younger, I wanted all the clout for me.
Yeah.
I want to be like, oh, that's my photo. Like, I want to be known. And now, as I move into this phase of where we have this creative agency, Project Liaison, it's not about me. Like, I don't want to do all these things alone. I want all the most talented players around me, each playing their role, because that makes the machine run a lot smoother.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, we deliver the best product for the client. And that's what it's about, servicing the client to the full extent, giving them exactly what they need, and giving them an experience that they are ecstatic about and happy to, not only for their investment, but also to tell other people, because word of mouth is some of the strongest marketing, if not the strongest marketing out there.
Facts.
Social validation.
Now, let me ask you about that. That's like you guys are dropping super gems as far as, having to know people in a lot of places and things like that. I don't remember if I was saying this on the podcast or just in conversation, but you guys did some video. Well, you specifically did for Orange Theory. And I just want to know how the partnership with Swish House came about. Like, obviously somebody saw you from somewhere. Is that a story you can tell, or is it?
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it was word of mouth.
Yeah, it was word of mouth.
It was word of mouth. You could say it, but one of our closest.
Just closer.
It was word of mouth. Just like he had said. One of our closest friends lives across the street.
Shout out to Breck Mahoney.
I see his apartment right now. Shout out Breck. He put on Jason Connection. He made the play, extended it to me, saying, "Hey, this is what it could be," and we brought it to life. And we developed a real partnership here and a real partnership with the clients we're working with. So that's kind of where it came from, right?
Yeah, it was awesome because I got to work with Breck because he runs a Bucktown-based running club called, or not Bucktown, Humboldt Park-based running club called Run Too Hard. And running changed my life this year. And a lot of what I do is, when I'm not getting paid, is I'm finding ways to not only practice my skill, but also, shoot spec projects that are, build my portfolio and continue to get me the better projects that I'm looking to get, like your Nikes, your Adidas, like those big accounts like that. Yeah. And I joined that group to shoot for my portfolio, to give them content because they're friends. I'd actually never met Breck until the running group. Yeah. We'd been friends on Instagram, just from similar friends.
That's how it goes sometimes. Yeah.
Breck is amazing people. Raymond as well, the other lead of Run Too Hard, is amazing people. And through that, I'm just... a lot of times with photographers, videographers, like, oh, if I'm not getting paid, I don't want to do it. And I have that mentality sometimes when I want to, like, on certain things. If I reach out to an individual for a practice shoot, I'll never expect them to pay. But if you want my services, you should come with that mindset. So when I entered that group, I'm like, this is to build my portfolio, to shoot these Nike running photos that I love and that just give me life. Yeah. And hopefully good things will come from that. And that's exactly what happened. And having those relationships is super important, because if I didn't know Breck like that, I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to meet Dews and meet the Swish House team. Go take a Swish House class.
And that's what you took the words out of my mouth, because you guys actually took a Swish House class. Yeah. And the first one who was there, and it was like, oh, wow, this is a real deal.
That was the most surprising fitness class I've taken.
I think that, with certain projects, you have the opportunity to submerge yourself. Yeah. So us taking the class, we're both competitive guys. We love fitness, love to work out. So taking the class was kind of like a hell yes instead of a
yeah.
It's basketball. Like we said, Swish House is going to be successful because basketball is everybody's sport.
Yep.
So it's easy to hop in. It's easy. It feels easy to be creative because it was my passion at one point in my life. Still is in a way. I'm still a huge basketball fan. Yeah. But it comes together that way.
Yeah. That's like I said, that I really appreciate the fact. I mean, if you can't get the people that's shooting for you to come at least try it out one time, what are you doing? So obviously they got something good going on because
sometimes
you guys
people are distant from the projects, but we thought it was actually an imperative that we did.
Yeah.
To understand the hustle and understand exactly the tone of the classes, the words I use when I design, the energy he uses when he edits, all comes from submerging.
Yeah, you should never, ever take on any client work without, A, knowing like 100% of what the client does,
Yeah.
like whether it's products or the ingredients, just like being fully vested into your client. Like you shouldn't look at your clients as money. You should look at them as partnerships, real people, real entities that are doing things. You know, the reason we start businesses at the end of the day, sure, yeah, it's to make money, but every business is rooted in solving a problem,
There you
providing
go.
a solution,
Yep.
making life better for somebody, and that's what Swish House is doing with basketball. And like, you know, bringing back the nostalgia of hooping with your friends back in the day, like,
Yep.
you know, the competitive, like, I don't want to lose to you, like, and one, what,
Yeah.
like, you know, you remember
Yeah.
those days, and you see that. I mean, I've seen it from so many members that I've spoken to, you know, even just friends who, like, I haven't even given the Swish House spiel to yet.
Yeah.
You know, one of my friends, Dominique, was talking about, I was like, man, just like that brought back the competitive nature of
Yeah.
like hooping with the homies. And
Yeah.
we need competitiveness.
Yes.
Like, we need competitiveness because it makes us better. It's fun in the right environments. And it, you know, it just helps to bring up everybody, and I think that's super important, especially in group fitness. Like healthy competition weaved into a group workout where like you're not really dreading the workout. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna have a great workout, and then also like you're not trying to lose.
Yeah, you're not trying to lose, exactly. And I can't wait till I get some buddies to come up and visit me. That's like the first thing I'm gonna do is take them to a class and say, "Hey, remember this? I just wish I would have like some of the practice elements. Wish I would have had when I was younger, because I would have been even better." But that's another story for another time. One of the other big things that you guys do is like when I see you guys, y'all are like fresh to death. I can tell what you was
Fresh to
talking about
death.
clothes and stuff.
man.
Because you guys are just like dripped out. I can't do that anymore because now I got to buy my kids stuff. Like my son last night, I let him get the sneakers app and the GOAT app.
Ooh.
This dude sent me like 20 different shoes. Like, can I get these? Can I get these? Can I get these?
I'm gonna
It's-
pray for you.
Yeah, and so the days of me getting them for me is gone.
It's hard to get releases on sneakers though, because there's so many bots. Like I used to be in
Yes.
this sneaker game,
It's
man.
hard.
Like, and you talk about clothes. Like, yeah, I still love it. My priorities have shifted. Like, I rarely buy clothes for myself these days. Like everything to
Me
me
too.
is about growing. Like this business is what's important. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm still that dude, regardless if I'm wearing sweats, regardless if I'm wearing a $10,000 suit, and because. I was in that phase where I thought, oh, like having a Louis Vuitton belt made me cool or made me tight. Like, you know, and just then you grow.
But y'all still fresh. That's
Well,
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
I mean, like, you know, clothing is the message you send before you have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
You see me.
That's like the
You see me
cover to your
first.
book.
You see me
Don't-
first, and then
Yep.
how you're walking, the same confidence in a $5,000 suit that I have in sweatpants.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Facts.
that's why the energy feels so powerful in some senses, and you don't have to spend a bunch of money to dress well.
No,
I
no.
think we are so done with that notion.
Yeah.
You could thrift store it.
Yeah.
You can wear sweats. You can wear unique sandals from Japan. I always wear those. You know, it's so many options to express yourself. Again, it is creativity.
Yeah.
So
There
when
you
we
go.
go to work to be creative, it's best that we are in clothes that really express our mood and our energy at that time.
And cozy.
And
gotta be cozy.
I mean,
Yeah.
always cozy. We live in Chicago, so it's cold as hell all the
Listen, I
time.
might be the coziest person I know.
I know this dude got like a Sherpa blanket. He's just chilling out with the hood on his head.
Yeah, I'm a cozy dude.
Yeah.
I'm a cozy dude.
I'm with that. I like cozy. We live in Chicago.
Man,
We
you
got to
gotta
get
be
cozy.
comfortable. You got to be comfortable, because I think like when you're comfortable, it's the same way with photography, right? Like I don't consider what I do photography when I work with a subject. I'm just hanging out. I talk to my subjects. We have conversations. Like I break down those barriers, because if I don't break down those barriers, my subjects won't be comfortable. If they're not comfortable, I won't get the real raw emotion that I want. And that's what it is. Like when we're comfortable, you see people's true selves.
Yeah. The reason I even brought up the clothes is because I can see you guys are artsy. Like you're artsy people. And I can tell like it's really a compliment. And then I
you.
got the pleasure to come to you guys' place and see your stuff that you have up on the walls. Y'all got like the spot
y'all got an Instagram spot all day. Like it's really dope because I'll just put up a post on Facebook the other day. I said, I just want a crib nice enough to hire an interior decorator, like somebody to come over and actually do stuff. Like the little paintings I got on the wall is stuff I did, and the stuff you got on your wall is stuff that like really looks good. So
yeah, I mean, we hired an organizer when we moved
Okay.
in. Yeah, somebody that came in and gave some framework to where things should go, shelves, storage. We want it to be minimal here because I think minimal allows more room for thought.
yeah.
Less is more in the sense of being productive.
Yes.
So that's kind of, this space really lends itself to that because sometimes you need the right space to achieve what you want it to be. You know, some people are held back by the space, and I'm grateful for this space because it can really be whatever we need it to be at any given day, any given time.
Now you guys do shoots here because I see you got
All the time.
Okay. What other than live action things that you guys are doing for the workout brands, what other kind of shoots do you guys do?
Oh, man.
Like this is more of like a commercial question for you guys, like advertising what you guys shoot.
Over the years, I've worked on Champion, Ocean Spray, Starbucks, Super Bowl commercials, White Claw, Foot Locker. But I'm on the agency side, so you get access to those brands. You know, I still think there's more freedom in maybe being alone because there's all this corporate hierarchy and all these things. But nevertheless, like opportunity to bring to life some of the biggest brands in the world is like some of the things I've done, and a lot of experiential design, merchandise. You know, XYZ, you name it. You know, whatever you can do to bring a brand to life. You know, I think I've done it early in my career. There's so much more to do. But yeah, I think a lot of variety.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it was a lot of variety in the beginning. Like I always just wanted to shoot cool stuff, but then when I had the opportunity to make money, I took whatever I could get. But now where I'm at, I've really segmented my focus on sports, fitness, health, and wellness.
Gotcha.
Music, when I get the opportunity, music is hard because I don't want to shoot music for free. I've done it a lot. I love shooting music. But at the same time, like I got bills to pay. My time is valuable, and I want to get paid if I'm working.
Now this is a real layman question, and I'm sorry if I cut you off. What is shooting music other than shooting an artist on stage? Is it more to it than that?
I mean, when I say shooting music, it's mostly live stuff, but I love to do anything in the music space, like commercially. Like that could be artists in the studio, that could be covers, that could be anything related to like press, media, like event stuff, but more so related to anything, live and let's say assets that would be used for like commercial purposes, such as like a cover or a movie or whatever, because then it gives me the opportunity to be in an environment, especially like a cover, right, where you can make a production, you can set the scene exactly how you want, you can envision, draw the skeleton, the map, whatever you want to call it, and I mean, this is the end result that we need. We have this much time to do it. These are tools that we're going to get it done with, and now let's go execute. A lot of the other stuff, like an event, it's run and gun. Like you're sitting there, you have a flash, you have a camera, maybe you have the stabilizer if you're doing, you probably have the stabilizer if you're doing video, and those things that, your creativity has to come on the fly. And those aren't really it's not really like creative places.
Okay.
Because it's just like events are cut and dry. The delivery medium for those is usually some type of social media thing. It's not like a big press release where you can truly be like creative.
Okay.
You can find the creativity in there, but like creating an album cover where you go find a location, this is the mood, this is the message we need to convey, this is the type of lighting that we want, this is how it needs to be shot. Like that's an opportunity to be extremely creative.
Okay. So, like I said, I was thinking, like from a layman's term, like just going to a show, shooting an artist, shooting a crowd, getting some of the lights, getting some live reaction. But you guys do photo and video at the same time. So realistically,
LaSalle's afraid of video. He's scared.
I'm not a video guy. I'll be real.
But the video, I mean, the sizzle, that's a video, isn't it? Or it's not?
Yeah. So that was, I'm doing a lot of creative direction, foundation as far as like, hey, here's, what we need to capture to get these shots. He holds the camera as far as video.
Okay.
So
the thing about LaSalle, I got to shout out LaSalle. He is one of the most creative individuals I've met, and that is why I want our relationship works so well, and I want to work with him because I'm more rigid and I'm trying to be a lot more creative, and just even living with him and working with him in this project. Because this isn't the first project we've done. Like I felt my creativity like increase and just get better.
Yeah.
But like
I'm just a little crazy.
Y'all feed off each other.
Exactly. It's a yin and yang, but his creative mind, he's taught me so much, and like I love to learn from those around me, and like I'm never in that position where like, oh, I'm above you, I'm older than you, like I know everything. No, because when you have that mentality is like when you're done.
Yeah.
You know, like there's always somebody out there who knows more than you, always somebody out there probably working harder than you, you know? And if you're really in it to be the best that you can, which is what I want to do, which is what my reasoning for this, like I'm going to take anything and everything from like my peers, my competition, because that's going to make me better. Again, shout out to Dominique. Like he always says, high tides raise all ships. And like, that's how it goes.
Like that. Man, now you made my little quote I was thinking about. In my mind sound
Let's hear it.
tiny. It's not even a quote. It's just something I heard from Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh, Bill Nye.
Shout out Bill Nye.
But he said every person you meet, treat this person like they have something to teach you. Like anybody.
Right.
Anybody you meet, I'm not trying to downplay her, but somebody sleeping on the street, say for instance, they can teach you something about either, hey, lay over here on this grate, or don't go down this path because this might not be the way to go. But every person you meet, act like you can learn something from them. So
Absolutely.
that's what I try and do.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, back to video. I was just so you out on video.
I mean, I've
you
done
in
video
on
work.
video.
I've done some really awesome video work. It's not my preference.
But I'm saying y'all could shoot like a music video, even though nobody
Absolutely.
have music videos that much anymore. Y'all could be
they
like,
do. They do.
Yeah,
there's a whole channel. The barber I go to, he has this thing, and it's just videos all day. And I'm like, I didn't even know
And
this
the one
was
thing
a
about
song.
videos is that like new artists don't have budgets, so it's always running gun.
Yeah.
Bigger artists like Lil Baby will have all these things, all the editors and directors. And
Yeah.
you could spend $200,000 on a music video. You could spend $500.
Okay.
So it's a big range. But depending on how much money is being funded into it, it makes shooting videos more fun, less fun. But there's definitely levels to it. It's not. It's like shooting a movie. Once you get up there, it's like shooting a movie. Full teams, full sets, producers, directors, assistant producers, stylists, wardrobe. There's sometimes writers. Drake usually has writers, because he creates his narrative as he's rapping. He'll be like, what's going on in the back? There's a story going on. Like it's fucking Hollywood. So
That one video he got, I don't particularly care for it. What's that song? It's with Future, and it's like Game of Thrones. You ever see that video?
Yeah, it's when he marries like 30 women or something like that.
Yeah, it's weird. It takes me back to what's that music? My
He was
buddy.
foreshadowing.
He was.
He was.
foreshadowing.
Drake is big on manifestation. I'll tell you that.
Aaliyah, 4-page letter. Y'all remember that
Yeah,
video?
and he used that sample.
They was like playing in the forest, and I'm like, and my buddy was like, "What you supposed to be doing? Sitting at the table writing a letter?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just didn't want that. I wanted something. I wanted something else." That was back in, like I said, video days. That now,
I mean, the video industry has changed.
I guess I'm
because
too
106
old.
in Park anything anymore. Rap City's not.
Yeah, and Rap City.
City's not a thing
106
anymore.
in Park,
Yeah.
in middle school,
like-
bro.
yeah, right. I used to race home to
Big
catch all.
Tigger.
Yep, Big T. Oh man, I remember when the first time I saw a Juicy video with Biggie, and I was like, "Who is this dude rapping with a lisp?" But he was dope.
Yeah, he was real dope.
Yeah, he was real dope. So let me shift just a touch back to camera stuff. You two, both creatives, this is a layup question, but what's your favorite camera? Not film, just favorite camera to shoot. Like if somebody wanted to go out and get a camera, what direction would you point me in?
Oh man.
The first thing I would ask is like, what do you want a camera for?
What are you capturing?
My kids,
Kids, what's your budget?
2 G's.
I would probably say I think the A7 III is
Yeah,
like
I would-
the A7 III is less than 2K now. I want to say the A7 IV might be right around 21, and like the A7 III for the time was the best bang for your buck camera that you can buy. I think also the Fuji XT3 was up there as well.
XT3.
But like the new Sony A7 IV, like it took the A7 III model and made it better. And I haven't played with the A7 IV. I've played with an A1, which is they're autofocus, like the ergonomics, the in-camera systems, they're all the same for the most part. But like that A7 IV is money.
Yeah, and not a big reason is like shooting your kids. So that's a recreational thing. You don't need something too heavy and bulky. Like all the Sonys are light, mirrorless, which mirrorless is a new technology that's probably popular in the past 12 years, 15 years as far as the industry. But you can take very powerful photos with something that is half the weight or even 75% of the weight of a full-size camera, a DSLR. So
now it's amazing that you guys said that. I had I still got it. I got a YouTube channel where I did some video and I sent it off to a guy. He sent it back.
Plug the YouTube channel. You gotta self-promote.
Do it.
What is it?
Do it.
Department 3C. Just like everything I do is pretty much under Department 3C.
Okay.
So, or I am Sevy. So either of those two places. But like I said, I had a video guy and I was asking him, what should I get? And that's the exact camera that he told me to get. And I was looking it up. It was about $1,500 to say it one more time.
The A7 III?
Oh yeah. A7 III.
Yeah.
Or was the A7 IV? It was the Sony
the
though.
A7 IV came out this year, I believe. But yeah, those
This wasn't too long ago. It was in 2022.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's up. So I got you guys' favorite cameras. We talked about video, your creative process, and everything else. Other than that, is there anything that I should? This is like my end question, but I should have asked you that I didn't ask you.
I don't think so. I'm not in that stage of life anymore where I feel like I'm the main character.
I'm with that.
Like I'm the main character in my own world.
Yep.
But what I mean by that is, I'm not different than anybody else.
You here for the team.
I'm here for the team. I don't need to be put on a pedestal. Like I don't need to say anything about myself. For me, I used to be that guy. I used to talk all the time and never did any of the things that I talked about. But now, like something that I truly live by is like your actions do all the talking for you. You
early on in the podcast, you brought up meditating, and it is so hard, but I try and meditate at least once a week. But it is like to get your mind to calm down so that you can get to that space is quite difficult. But like I said, we got real deep real early, and I appreciate like you guys' perspective, your views on everything, because it's really refreshing. Oh, one other thing I wanted to ask you guys about that you two are awesome at is your work ethic. A lot of times, especially in generations now, younger people don't have they want things to kind of just be given to them. You guys don't give off that vibe at all. Y'all like, let's wake up, let's get it, let's do it. Because
I think having that expectation of having things handed to you is not sustainable for success. You have to understand where you're going. Might be a big goal, chop it up into a million manageable pieces and take one step every single day.
Absolutely.
And that's basically how you move forward. You don't overcomplicate it. Don't bite off more than you could chew. You'll have anxieties, you'll have setbacks, you'll have things like that. But understanding the end goal allows you to develop, like you said earlier, a process to get there. And if you believe in your process, then you should be just fine.
Actually, I'm glad you asked this question because while I was going into the no longer being the main character spiel, it's like, I think this is a great question to end on because through my own trials and tribulations and my own difficulties in life and like going through depression, going through anxiety, going through that darkness, like it has helped me to evolve to a state where I'm like the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the financial security that all my friends working their comfy jobs do, but I have my purpose. I know where that I'm going. I know what the end goal looks like. And like, that's the only thing that's going to happen. But this journey that I've been on where I've had to sacrifice, I've had to change my priorities, my outlook on things, like it has made me so much happier. I feel like a genuine, real human being that's living life. And growing, and that's because I'm doing the work. I'm going through ups and downs and taking them the right way, and that's part of the game. Like the easiest things in life are not worth it.
Yeah,
the ones that we struggle for, our biggest challenges. That's not only what's going to make us the happiest and give us real joy, because life is yin and yang balance. You can't have sun without the moon, joy without pain. But also, like, that's where real confidence comes from, where you can go and face your darkness, your challenges, your fears with courage. You might not know what happens, you know, at the end, but like, you're still willing to get into that arena because you believe in yourself, you have courage, you're not going to let the fear take over you. And like, my dad always growing up said, he would rag on me for instant gratification, and like I understood that once I got on this journey. You know, like, people, they just see, especially with social media. Like, I hate social media. Like, my business it revolves around it. It's a big part of it. But I just think what social media has done to people's minds and just like social interactions, psychological, like, it has changed human behavior, and it's not for the best.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, people just, they show you what they want you to see. They don't show you the faults for the most part. Like, the real ones show you the faults, but people only see the end result and never what gets you to the end result. And what gets you to the end result isn't sexy. It doesn't look nice. It's, for lack of a better word, fucking hard.
Yes.
It'll kick your teeth in every day. But like, that's the burden of life. Like, we're, you know, the fact that we're here, none of us asked to be here. It's incredible. You should make the most of it. Work is part of life. And like, don't ever, like, I always say this, don't ever take the easy route. Easy's hard, hard is easy.
There you go. That's you. This might be not the best podcast because we agree too much. It's not a lot of contention in it, because the thing about it is I just got into an argument, and then I write a blog as well, and you can find that at Department3C.
Let's go. Let's go with the plug.
But I was talking about authenticity. Excuse me. I put up a post that was very vulnerable. I'm like, I'm mad, I'm pissed off, I got this going on, that going on. And people call me, why you put that up there? And I'm like, 'cause that's how I'm feeling. I'm not you know, sitting down in a hole like Oscar the Grouch and come out mad. I'm just not feeling things or how they're going right now, and I'm being transparent about that. But people only think, like you said, social media, just put out the good stuff, and the bad stuff isn't in what sells. So,
what you said, authenticity is important. Like, I think if the world, like, we cling to authentic people as human beings, like people who have no filter, who say the things that a lot of us think but are afraid to say for, you know, various reasons.
Yeah.
But the world needs more authenticity, and I think the world would be a better place if there was authenticity and, you know, human interactions. Like, you know, like, you can spot a fake person from a mile away.
Right.
You can see opportunists, you can see frauds, and it's like, in the grand scheme of things, you're only hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You're not showing the world like you're not when you're not the real you don't put the right people around you that you need to, like, your circle is everything, right? And, you know, you want
connections.
You want to find like-minded individuals. You want to find your tribe. Like a big part of life, and my belief is like finding your tribe, but also finding people that are not in your tribe that you can, you know, have conversations with, that you can see their side. You can talk about, you know, your differences in a mature manner to where both parties can grasp and learn something and keep it moving. Keep it moving.
There you go. So let's say you had stepped away for half a second, and I asked Dre already, is there any questions that I should have asked you that I didn't?
No, I think we had a real well-rounded discussion, you know. Yeah. Like you said, it wasn't too combative, but that's because creativity is community in a lot of ways, man.
Dude, we gonna make some posters,
you know, like
T-shirts or something.
I mean, like when we create things, it's not us. We're creating something that will bring people to something together, you know, come experience it together, bring people to Swish House. Yeah. So, like, that can't be combative, because that's about inviting people to a nurturing, competitive, healthy place, you know, to where you can reach your goals and have fun. So, like, it's tough to be, combative or argumentative on the nature of this thing, because this thing is all love. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I can end it any better than that. So I want to thank you gentlemen so much for letting me come over and pick your brains and talk to you about cameras and stuff. We might have to do it again. So
most certainly.
We'd love that.
Most certainly. We can change the topic if you want to argue a bit. We can change the topic to something else.
We can talk about football. You Cowboys fan. Yeah.
Hey, just talk to this man about the restaurant across the street. He'll argue all day.
I will argue about my food. I will argue about my sports teams. That's pretty much it.
That's still competitive. I like that.
Absolutely.
I'm with that. All right. Well, without further ado, we get out of here. Bye.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.